I started at 14, became a real smoker at 16, and for about 25 years, cigarettes were built into every part of my life. Yeah, they just like slowly worked their way in, except inside this home. That's one spot. If you're in your 40s and you've been smoking for 20 plus years, you probably know this feeling. I quit for a day, a week, a month, even 8 months. And every time I went back. So if you failed at quitting before, you're not broken. You're just like me. Today, I'm gonna walk you through exactly why I quit in my 40s and how I planned it out so this time was different. So why did I finally quit at 45? Let's go get more comfortable and I'll tell you about it. I got one. Okay, so why did I finally quit at 45? My why wasn't just like, I don't want to die. No, it was much deeper than that. It was, I desire a second wind transformation of health, energy, clarity, and a life that doesn't smell like smoke. Oops, dropped my mic there. The real turning point, it came when I started thinking of my future self at 60. But my present self right now has to do something with that cat. Give me 2 seconds. For you, it'll be 1 second. Told you it'd be quick. The real turning point, yes, that came when I started thinking about my future self at 60, 15 years from now. That twist in perception was and still is critical for change for me, because I wasn't keen on the movie that was being played out in my head right now as if nothing changed. What if your second half of life could be better than your first? I believe it can, but changes need to be made first. So I started planning my quit, and that planning phase is what I want to share with you right now, because it's what made this time different. Here's what I did before my quit date. First, I defined my personal why for quitting. I literally wrote down, I desire a second wind transformation of health, energy, clarity, and life that doesn't smell like smoke. To put that in like simplest form, it means that I'm quitting smoking so I can lead a healthier life, have more energy for myself and my family, and live with intention. Plus, I want to smell good again and have whiter teeth. Yeah. So if you're watching this, come back to this part later with a notebook and write your version of that down. It matters. If you want more clarification on how to find your why, go check out the description. I made a video just for you explaining exactly this. This absolutely matters deeply to your future self. And I don't know how I can stress that anymore. So we'll leave that there for now. Next, I set up my Craving Tracker. Before I quit, I started noticing when I was reaching for that cigarette, you know, the time, the emotion, the situation. Was it the morning coffee, after meals, driving, stress, boredom? For me, physical labor. This let me plan for the craving and kind of let me know it was coming so I wasn't getting blindsided. Tracking, most importantly, the time of day, what I was doing, and the trigger. More on this in a bit. Next, I decided who I was going to tell. In the past quits, I'd either tell everyone or no one. This time I was intentional. My wife? Yes. My son? Yes. No one else. By doing this, that allowed me to protect myself from pressure and judgment that I just don't need right now, while still having support at home. I also practiced my answer to, are you still smoking? You know, if someone were to ask me that in the near future. And my script was simple. No, actually, X days in. Yeah, working on it. Quick and done. Decide your sentence before you quit, so you're not scrambling in the moment. Trust me, your future self is definitely going to thank you. Now here's the big one, okay? And that's picking the day to start. This was absolutely key for me, and it will be for you too. I took my past experience and decided this time I would not plan a busy timeline for the first 72 hours, like I did last time. This time was going to be different. I do actually the complete opposite. I plan for rest, not action. I purchased 1 box of the Nicoderm 3-step patches, step 1. By the way, this is where the Craving Tracker idea came from that I referenced earlier on in this video. They provide a handy information book that I found useful, and by the way, I put a link in the description for everything that we're mentioning in this video, including the patches. To ease the cravings, I put a patch on the night before. After my last cigarette, I had a shower, put a patch on, and directly went to bed. So no family schedule, no social commitments, no work. Just me, this channel, my quit, and getting through those first 3 days. And it worked. I didn't have family obligations. I didn't drive, which is important. Nor did I go to social events where I'd normally smoke. I gave myself permission to do nothing, but work on this channel and rest while not smoking. I also prepared physical tools. Some of these things are also in the description. However, you're gonna have to fill out the form and Andrew and I are gonna get back to you one-on-one. Anyways, that includes the sugar-free mints. I used the heck out of those things because I needed something in my mouth that tasted good and I could just get my mind off of that cigarette. And these sugar-free mints were like super handy for that. I also use what I call flavored water packs, although they're much more than that. They're like no dye, no chemical, etc., etc. They're wellness branded. But for this sake, we'll call them flavored water packs. Also the snacks that weren't junk. And I had also my walking shoes and my gym bag at the back door, my backpack, whatever people call it these days. As far as the mental tools, it's actually episode 3. And that is the craving wave, how to handle those cravings, that 3 to 7 minute wave. Just knowing that it's just a wave, right? Also using like a breathing method where personally just 3 deep breaths and I refocus on my why. Remember your why? We just literally spoke about it. Right, that's why it's so important though. Remember I said it was like super important? That's why, because you're gonna refocus on your why every time that you get a craving. That's why it's important. So I'm using a camera and I'm building something that keeps me accountable and hopefully shows you that you can do this too. Like if you're in the planning phase, replay this video with a notebook and actually write down your why, your craving triggers, and who you're gonna tell. And if you wanna follow this in order, go ahead and check out the whole playlist. You can watch as we build. And of course, drop your why in the comments, even 1 sentence, and I'll read it and respond. I promise you. And who knows, you might actually help someone else start their journey as well. So thank you in advance for that. And remember, you're not too old. You're not too far gone. And you don't have to figure this out alone. I'm Troy. This is Second Win, Midlife Edition. And this is my real quit smoking journey after 40. And I encourage you to join me. So hit up the next video. Quit smoking after 40, my real timeline. That's number 2 in this series.